What's up everyone and happy Halloween! In today's Red Previews, we will plunge into the creepy world that is known to every horror fan, the Saw franchise. In this video, I'm going to tell you what the future holds for us, and everything what is known about the officially announced 10th film. The leaked plot, the return of classic characters and the hot insides, this is all we will touch. Saw franchise are known for their bloody plot, but this does not stop viewers from all over the world from waiting for a new, anniversary part. Many critics say that the universe has already become legendary, which means that the expectation of the audience for such projects may be overestimated. So let me not drag out the video and we will go straight to the preview. The Saw universe now has 9 films and is listed in the Guinness Book of Records as the most successful horror series with collections of over $1 billion. Of course, Lionsgate wanted more, and after what seemed to be the end of the story in 2010, the franchise continued with movies of rather dubious quality. Not that every project has been perfect before, but Saw 8 and Spiral in particular deservedly became the worst in the series. Back in April last year, it became known that the franchise would acquire not only a sequel, but also a spin-off series. The last Spiral movie was released on May last year. Despite careful preparation, it turned out to be a deep failure, only interested the most dedicated fans, but even they were disappointed. A low-end product that tries to cling to the glory of a legendary franchise. The main role was played by Chris Rock, which in itself looked strange for such horror. But this is not the main problem. Rock could well fit in if there was a quality script, but Spiral didn't have one. Even Samuel Jackson can't save a project. Professional critics wrote that it was not possible to revive the former greatness and that everything was in the past. Many of them called Spiral a lazy continuation of the once popular universe among the masses. Nevertheless, today we are talking about the 10th part, and the studio doesn't want to merge this franchise. The script for Saw 10 will be written by Josh Stolberg, who wrote the 8th and 9th films. This is not so optimistic news as he had a hand in the worst parts. But still, we hope that the author will take into account all mistakes and show a good level. Indeed, with a competitive scenario, everything will be fine for the team, and practically nothing will prevent the 10th Saw from winning the love of fans. The director will be Kevin Gruthert, creator of the 6th and 7th movies. Which of course, doesn't set much joy either, since its parts are also considered bad. But there's been some hot news about Tobin Bell's return to his famous role as John Kramer. A logical question creeps in. How? After all, the character died in the 3rd part. So let's try to figure out what options for continuing the story can be in the 10th film. Then I will tell you about a possible leaked plot and rumors. And you write in the comments your version of the new Saw story. To begin with, let's talk about where the story can turn without relying on any rumors. Let's start with the worst option. In my opinion, this is to release another spin-off like Spiral or even its direct sequel. In such a film, you can add Jigsaw and conditional flashbacks to attract hype and advertising, and the story itself can be focused on some other character. Or continue the story of Shank. Since the ending of Spiral was left in limbo, Bank's father has been killed and a Jigsaw copycat is hiding in an elevator. It would seem that the story needs to be finished, but the quality of the project leaves much to be desired. But who wants to go to the cinema to watch the sequel of a story that no one liked? However, the next Spiral we will see with a greater degree of probability. Back in December last year, producers Mark Berg and Warren Coles said that the studio had 2 scripts, Saw 10 and Spiral 2. The 10th movie is now a priority, but Spiral 2 will still be as separate from the main one as possible storyline branches, and most likely will become a mini-series. And the project will be sent immediately to streaming to continue and finish that storyline. Also, it is quite unlikely that we will still see the continuation of the main story, which stopped in the 7th film. Let me remind you that there we learn about the follower of Jigsaw, who continued his work after death. Agree that it is not a bad option to continue, and here again you can integrate John Kramer in flashbacks. Still, the character appeared in all subsequent parts after his death, and there will be no problems with this. But 12 years have passed since the end of the 7th Saw, and the actors are not getting younger, so a direct continuation still looks unlikely. Now let's talk about possibly leaked information. Well, let's build conjectures and theories on this rumor. Reportedly, the new part of the cult series will be a full-fledged solo movie about Kramer. The story will be narrated from his view, and not from the victims of his harsh games, as was the case in all previous parts. Jigsaw's trademark traps will be few, and the plot will be focused on the psychology and origin of a killer. Insiders also note that it will be monotonous and in places resemble documentaries about murders. And the action will unfold before the events that occurred in the 3rd film. but there will be time jumps. John died right in Saw 3, so the prequel could have revealed important events leading up to his death. So the script was written back in 2015 and didn't see the green light because of Chris Rock, who burst into the studio with an offer to breathe something new into the franchise. And now, after a couple of years, the script will be shaken off the dust and put into development with minor adjustments. If the producers want to tell and come up with a new big game between the first and second films, then it will already be like the 8th movie, which also the fans do not associate with anything good. But here is an example of how you can exclude all objectionable sequels, rewrite the ending of the original and continue the story from scratch. As a result, fans will be happy. Saw 10 could start a completely different story. The studio will at least make a good retcon trilogy. Chris Rock was essentially right that the franchise really should be refreshed, but he took the wrong path. Of course, there is an option to fix everything. The most important thing is a strong script, a couple of familiar characters, and a job done with love. Naturally, if we think hard, we can come up with several more options for the development of stories. I told you about the most obvious, and in my opinion, the two best variants. There are currently no plans to return the other characters in the series. Amanda Young and Mark Hoffman should not be expected. However, the project is at an early stage of development. Film crew can still easily invite some of the stars of the franchise if the script requires it. Producers Mark Berg and Oren Cowles note that when working on the 10th film, they carefully listened to the opinion of the fans and made every effort to make a film that fans of Saw and horror movies in general will appreciate. This was reflected in the choice of the director. Gruthers shot the 6th part warmly received by the fans and edited the first 5 films. Lionsgate has partnered with Twisted Pictures to announce that the 10th installment of the iconic horror franchise Saw will release on October 27, 2023. Now the franchise is at a crossroads. Only the creators will decide which way to go. The producers claim that they have heard all the criticism of the latest films and listened to the fans. So let's see what they come up with, but I want to wish them good luck. After all, a miracle can happen, and Saw 10 has the potential to become the best film in the series at all. That's all I wanted to say. What are your thoughts on a 10th film? Be sure to write in the comments and share your favorite Saw movie. Also in the next Red Movies previews, I will fully analyze the Marvel's Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania story, and do a breakdown of the official trailer. There is also a video on the 2nd season of The Sandman, and finally, I will be comparing the 1st season of House of the Dragon with George Martin's book Fire and Blood. A lot more to come. Subscribe so you don't miss out. See you soon.